Listen, do you want to get jacked? Do you want to get bigger, faster, stronger? Are you putting everything you got into your workouts? Well, that's great. That's great. But are you backing it up when you get home? You know what I mean. Are you eating right? Are you drinking right? Are you taking the correct supplements? Well, if you're in need of some fantastic supplements, go over and check out getmountainops.com. Some of the best supplements out there geared towards the specific needs of the hunter. They got multi-blended proteins, pre-workouts, post-workouts, multivitamins, which I myself take and thoroughly enjoy. And not only that, but for the fantastic listeners of this show, if you want to get 20% off your order, all you have to do is enter the coupon code NBH20 at checkout, and boom, 20% off right there. So head on over to getmountainops.com and get yourself some. And don't forget to head on over to naturalbornhunter.com. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to our iTunes channel. Hit us up on Instagram and Facebook. All right, now let's get this show underway. So this little noise here, the squeaking and fussiness you hear is my son, firstborn child, Anderson Samuel Bradley. It's about his feeding time, but I just wanted to introduce him.
Oh yeah.
If he's crying that much, might have to take me out here, little man. You can't be crying on your debut. But he's my firstborn son. Well, my first kid, and I'm pretty stoked and amazed to be a father, man. It's the best feeling in the entire world. Even with the crying and the late night diaper changes and everything, and peeing on me and pooping on my hands.
Oh yeah.
So I apologize about the crying, but those of you with children know there's not a damn thing I can do about this. Mommy's gonna take him and feed him right now. But I just wanted to bring him on because, I love doing this podcast and I love that little boy. So I just wanted to, bring him on and introduce him to y'all.
Nice,
For
congratulations.
sure, man. Congrats.
Thank you. Dude, you guys are dads, right? And it's unreal. It's unreal, the feeling. It's
You just stole the show, man.
Yeah, it's like I'll never do anything better in my life than that right there.
Well, you need to try to live up to that again, though, to have a couple more. So you need to, get back to practicing once it's okay to get back to practice, and work on number 2.
That's actually a plan. It's probably not going to be a long turnaround time. Do it the CrossFit way, recover and get back after it.
There you go.
So we've talked whether it's going to be 2 or 3 or 4, I don't know, but there's definitely hopefully going to be hopefully we'll be blessed to have some more in the future. Man, it's crazy though, because people, I've heard, it changes your life. Like the minute that kid came out, it was just a switch went off. It's like I was meant to be a dad. And that's not something I had ever thought I was meant to be, especially the way I live. Like I did not see that coming. So, like I said, late night feedings. I'm actually becoming what I would like to consider the NASCAR of diaper changing. NASCAR pit crew of diaper changing. Like I've got a method. I might put in a clock like you have for a CrossFit workout where I get the 3, 2, 1, go. Try to set some PRs here. To maybe make some videos, some other new dads, because I'm getting it. I'm getting the process. I'm getting it down, and I think I have some things I could share with some new dads out there.
Sounds like a new podcast to me.
I don't know about a whole podcast. Maybe just one YouTube video. Because I'm going to tell you, there's some new dads in our listening community, so I'm going to share this with you, right? Prep work is everything when it comes to diaper changing, especially late night diaper changing. When he's ready to have his diaper changed, I've already got the new diaper under him. I've got a separate baby wipe ready to cover his wang in case, those of you who've ever been peed on, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You got to have something to cover those rough shots. And then I've got 3 separate baby wipes lined up on the side rail along with his wiener cream because we had him circumcised. So
Wiener cream.
Wiener cream. You ever seen the wiener cream? Phil, you didn't get the wiener cream for your boys?
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm talking about. You cream some wieners.
Yeah, well, it doesn't last too long, though. I mean, it seems like that little plastic deal falls out after about a week, like maybe 7 or 8 days. You got the cone on there still?
No, we didn't even get that. They just said, hey, when you change them, one of you hold his legs, keep it from hitting it. The other one, make sure this cream gets on there.
No, the way that they did it here, they put the little freaking cone on the
Like
helmet
a
and
dog
they tie
cone?
the string. No, it's like a little rubber helmet that goes over the head, and then they just put the skin over, then they tie the rope like a piece of thread, and it just eventually cuts it off.
Oh, that's not how they did it here. They surgicaled it, surgeryed it.
See that you New York folk, you guys got to be all complicated with
That's
shit.
right.
Can't you just do stuff the old-fashioned way?
No, I don't know about that old-fashioned business. All I know is I'm putting wiener cream on, and it's a race. Because here's the deal, right? I got it all set up. I got everything laid out. As soon as it's go time, boom, old diaper's off. Using the old diaper to weigh a little bit of the butt mess, folding that under, coming in. As soon as that diaper opens up, though, the pee shield is on. Some people, they're like, oh, what about the PPTP? And it's like, what? I don't need a damn PPTP because I would have to clean the PPTP every time it gets messy, and that would waste, a wipe. Why not just use the damn wipe, throw it on the wiener real quick, cover myself, shield it, because I've been peed on enough, and then, start slinging the other baby wipes on the rear end, get it all cleaned up, bunch it all together, step on the trash can, boom, it's in there real quick, uncover it, hit it with the wiener cream, and that's the danger zone there, because my wife has made the mistake of going to the wiener cream, thinking I'm done, I'm going to remove the pee shield baby wipe and just do up the diaper. Wrong. As I saw today, this afternoon, she removed the pee shield, went to fold the new diaper over, and guess what?
It got in her mouth.
That did not get in her mouth. It did not get in her mouth, but that boy shot a stream across the room that made me proud to be his father. I mean, Niagara Falls ain't got shit on what this kid was putting out there. It was impressive, an impressive flow stream. And so I said, it's your own damn fault. You took off the shield. You dropped your guard. He got you. That happens. But if everything goes according to plan, you keep that shield on there. And even if, he does his own thing, sure, you wasted the diaper that's down there collecting it anyways, but that might protect his clothes, the mat, you never know. If not, he no pee, boom, flip it up, do him up, boom, you're done, off to the races. And that's the Will Bradley technique, which if any of you new dads want to see a video out there of how this is done, I can somehow try to shield the nudity, if you will. And I might make that, give some tips and tricks out there to new fatherhood, because I know there's a few of you guys out there who are expecting, and if you're gonna do something, you gotta do it right. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, is the Natural Born Hunter Podcast, a podcast where, believe it or not, we normally talk about hunting and fitness and the occasional tale of the wiener cream. Welcome. We've got my main man, Phil Mendoza, spinning the ones and twos, a.k.a. the Big Sexy Iceman, live from Denver, Colorado, No Limits Archery, greatest archery shop on the entire planet. And we are blessed to have with us tonight his cousin Jesse Marquez, who those of you who go to Anchor CrossFit or know of Anchor CrossFit, he's one of the head coaches there, co-owner. Or if you're a little bit more up to date with the archery hunting athlete world, he is the newly crowned Alpha Bow Hunting Championship winner. He is the Alpha Hunter for 2016. So congratulations, JJ.
That's right.
I am super stoked. I watched that final heat because for those of you who don't know, the Alpha Bow Hunting Competition is a bow hunting competition Phil held, and the finals were made up of, was it 8 guys or was it 8 guys left?
Yep.
And they had to go head to head, and Nathan, who shout out to him, he did an amazing job. videoing for us for Natural Born Hunter and putting out the live feeds, and he captured all the excitement that was in that final heat where it was Jesse and who else?
Paul.
Paul.
Paul Black.
Paul Black came in for that final heat. I'm gonna tell you what, man, that was a barn burner. I mean, I don't know Paul, so no offense to him. I was rooting for Jesse, and I didn't know what the outcome was. And I'm sitting there watching this, like, come on, man, you got this, you got this. And then I saw, he obviously won, but it was intense, man. It was exciting to watch, and I'm watching it over the internet, so I imagine in person it was a lot more exciting. So why don't you walk us through this? Let's open with that, Jesse. Final heat, you're going in. What's going through your mind?
Man, so first off, dude, it was just incredible to be there. I mean, like it was surreal just knowing that I was in the final heat, that I had made it that far. I honestly did not expect to make it that far. I was just excited to be in the alpha bracket. Then a couple rounds later, 2, 3 rounds later, I'm in the final heat, and I had saw Paul shooting, and he was shooting good like all day long. He was on point. He's a beast. He was fast. He pushed the pace. So I was a little bit intimidated. I just knew that I just had to honestly not think about it, just to kind of just stay cool, just play my game, just stay on his heels, make my shots, and if I felt like I could push the pace on him to make him rush it, I don't know whether or not it worked, but I would just stay on his heels, try to take some shots before him if I could get up, get there before he could, and just kind of see what happened from there. So that last heat, I know just watching him kind of out of the corner of my eye, I could see he was a step ahead of me, and I know we would line up at the same time. I could hear his arrows going off before me, so I would just kind of listen for my guys that had my corner to say he hit, he missed, and if I heard that he missed, I would take a little bit longer just to make sure that I would hit it. If he hit, I would just try to kind of get that shot off quickly just to kind of make sure I stayed on par with him. Definitely tried to make sure I got to that fifth target, get in that box, because I don't know if you saw the way it was lined up, Will. That when you said, when Phil said go, we were back to back, and then that fifth target, you ended up in the same starting position where we were just standing right next to each other. So I wanted to make sure I was in that box with him so he could feel the pressure, and hopefully miss the shot. If I was in there quickly, that he would try to rush a shot and take it a little bit sooner. Again, whether or not that it did what I thought it would do, I don't know, but I just know that last round he missed that last shot, so I knew that I had a few seconds to just make sure I had to make that shot count, and I did.
Yeah, I was wondering actually when I watched it if he missed that last shot, because it looked like you were taking your sweet damn time, and I obviously didn't know, and I was like, Jesse, what the? You're not gonna win going at that pace, boy.
Yeah, it was fun. Our targets were right next to each other, so I saw that he missed, so I took a few extra seconds. I debated trying to get the shot off before him, but I knew, like I said, if I drew back when he was drawn back, it was going to put a little bit of pressure on, because I saw that he wanted to, throughout the day, I saw that he wanted to be the first one down. He wanted to get those shots off first, and there's a game plan to that. Like if you get done a lot quicker, and even if you miss a couple shots, you're still getting done faster, so you bought the time there. Well, I knew that if I was just a few seconds behind him and he missed, well, that gave me 20 seconds to get a shot off. And if I hit it, then great. I just bought myself 20 extra seconds. If I missed, well, that was my strategy down the drain,
Yeah, it was neat to see how some people, because the way we created the event, with that head-to-head round is I gave people a bonus arrow. So it was 5 targets you had to shoot, but you had a 6th arrow. And some people shot their 6th arrow, some people didn't. And to see where people chose to shoot their bonus arrow, some people would save it towards the end, some people would use it right away, and some people would go back targets. After they'd shot 3 targets or 4 targets, they'd go back to their first target and try to shoot it. So there was a lot of strategy involved based on, where you feel you were at. And like Jesse said, you had a spotter. I let you have a spotter with you there to tell you, yes, you hit, no, you didn't, because if anybody shot clay pigeon targets before, sometimes you'll shoot an arrow right in the center or right on the end of it, and the arrow will won't completely break the clay. It'll just bust a little hole in there, and sometimes it's hard to see, especially if you're moving fast, your heart rate's beating, and you don't see that you broke it. I wanted them to know that, yes, you broke it, so you're not going to sacrifice shooting another arrow at the station if they didn't need to. So to watch how people shot their bonus arrows is pretty neat.
Wait, so how many bonus arrows were there?
One
bonus arrow.
Yeah. So to kind of to go back, well, just to kind of explain to people that didn't haven't seen any of the coverage or didn't understand how the event rolled out, and it was something that was difficult to explain. I mean, I tried to do it on some of the Championship Bow Hunting podcasts, and I tried to explain it as best I can, but until you got out there and just experienced it, it's new, right? It's a completely new event. So day one was a qualifier round. It was a 30 arrow qualifier round, and what we did with the targets was all marked yardage, some 3D animals, some 2D animals. You were shooting at a bonus ring, 12, 10, 8, and then if you hit anywhere outside the 8 ring, it was -3. So it's not a 5, it was a -3. But to kind of throw the wrench more in the system, there was some targets that I gave a par plus plus is what I kind of call it. It's a par plus plus game. So as to where a par plus game like IBO 11s or ASA 12s, whatever the case is, it's a par plus game. In some scenarios, the shooter got to pick. I had a couple scenarios where there was like a 35-yard wolf or like a 52-yard wolf. And if you wanted to take a shot at the 52-yard wolf, you knew what the yardage was, but every bonus ring, with the exception of the -3, was worth bonus points. So it was like 4 bonus points. So if you hit a 12, it's actually a 16.
Oh,
if you hit a 10, it's actually a 14. If you hit an 8, it's a 12. So that's where you got to go up there and you say, I think I can at least hit a 10 or I can at least hit an 8. So if I at least hit an 8, I'm as good as I could be if I hit a 12 on the close shot. So that's where it was up to people to see where they wanted to play. And I was limited on how many of the shot scenarios I was able to do because it had rained a couple days before and our 3D range got rained out. But that's where I wanted to basically test everybody, give them apples to apples test. And that's how we basically flighted everybody and created the alpha bracket. So the top 8 competitors out of 30-some competitors got moved into the alpha bracket. And JJ qualified in 3rd place. So when I seen that he had qualified in 3rd place, I knew that it was going to be game on because I knew that him and Gabe were going to be ready to go from a physical standpoint. Not that the other guys on the course weren't, because Paul was good and Fred was good. And there's a lot of guys that were in good shape. Dylan, who was a pro shooter and shop shooter for me, and Bo, who's my main bow tech guy, right? Those 2 guys were in 1st and 2nd. I know those guys can shoot a bow, and I'm not saying those guys aren't in good shape, but I know they're not in the shape that JJ or Gabe are in. So that's where I knew it was an equalizer as to you have some physical element day 2 and you have the shooting element, but putting it together with the strategy, it's anybody's game. And that's what it was fun to see. So day 1, qualifier rounds. We shot targets out to 61, 62 yards or whatever that elk was, I think.
Yeah.
And a lot of kneeling shots, a lot of handful of draw and holds, a handful of seated shots. We shot some arrows out of a ground blind. We shot an arrow that was you're standing at a platform shooting it out 2 yards after a 30-second draw hold. So there was a lot of those kind of hunting scenario type shots. So after that, like I said, we got into day 2, the head-to-head rounds, and so basically top 8 qualifiers, they got bumped into the alpha bracket. They were playing for the big money and big prizes. From 9th place down, we re-bracketed everybody, and we put them in another head-to-head bracket for their own. They were competing against just themselves. So it was neat to see, man. I mean, even the women got after it.
Yeah, shout out to Raquel.
Took first, yeah.
Right? She's an animal, man.
She did good. She can shoot a bow pretty well, and she stays in pretty good shape. So it was something that it was she had that good blend going on. But it goes back to, I was really happy to see, my cousin win, and it's for one, we're family, right? I want to see my family succeed, but to see that we prepare in many ways the same way. We're doing the boot camps. He works out at the gym a little differently than I do, but when we work out, when we come together that once every 2 weeks to do a boot camp, or whenever we come together to shoot for that kind of stuff, it's the preparation is a very similar platform, and to show people, look, this works, right? This is not, we're not blowing smoke up everybody's can. this is for something, and to see him come through and knock off the top competitors like he did to win, it was like, man, this is just a perfect storm. Because like I said, from a credibility standpoint, and from I mean, just not just that, but just seeing how the event handicapped itself, and seeing how the event regulated itself. I knew it was going to do that. I didn't know how well it would do that. And it did it very well, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, you put together a event where you wanted to test the archers and some of their fitness. And there was a little more emphasis, I think, on the archery, obviously, with the qualifying to get into that alpha bracket. But then when it came time for that final showdown, you had to be able to put up or shut up with your fitness, too. And not only that, but I think what I really like about it is it was short, intense, and you had to be able to manage your nerves.
Mm-hmm.
A lot like when you're out there in the field.
Yeah, no, I mean, guys were running the course in somewhere between, 2 to 3 minutes, and just depending on how long you took to take a shot. And then for the alpha course, I made the distances a little further, where they had to carry the sandbags to the sled, and that distance they had to drag the sled was not quite twice the distance, but it was almost twice the distance that they had to do, that every other division had to do. So I made the physical portion a little bit greater for that last bracket. But it still wasn't, it was very manageable. I mean, wouldn't you say, JJ, I mean, you don't have to be superhuman CrossFit guy or marathon runner to be able to do well at that event. You just need to pace yourself, understand your limitations, and do what you need to do to put yourself in a position to make a good shot when it comes time to that.
I agreed, yep.
So, Jesse, let's talk about that. Pressure, control, shot execution. What were you doing to make sure everything counted?
Honestly, I think probably I'd say about 70% of the shooting I do for practice is with the workout. So I don't do a whole lot of just shooting for yardage or just target shooting without having my heart rate up. I try to incorporate at least 3 or 4 times a week when I'm doing a workout, even if it's just in my cardio warm-up or just kind of like a cardio, a little bit of a cool down. That's my shooting. And a lot of times it's not even more than 20 yards. It's 10, 15, 20 yards. So for me, it was kind of, I knew what to expect. I knew that, do what you got to do, whether it was running, dropping the sandbag off on the sled, running back, take a deep breath, draw back, take another deep breath, and then slowly let it out until I find that pin, find that target, and then let it go.
And what would you recommend to people out there who are trying to become better under pressure or under the high elevated heart rate?
I think just do just that. It doesn't need to be, you don't need to practice 60-yard shots in a mile run. You just, do a set of 5 or 10 burpees or run, like a short distance, like a 100-meter sprint, and take like a really short shot, because even those short shots, just learning how to draw back your bow, learning how to just set that pin and just trust yourself on the release, I think that, like I said, it doesn't need to be any kind of 60, 80-yard shot, 40-yard shot. It's, practice that at 5 or 10 yards, get used to that, move back a few yards, do it again, start going a little bit more intense on the workout. I recommend even doing stuff where you just blast your shoulders where you don't know that you're going to be able to draw back your bow, just to make sure that you have that confidence that I know that my shoulders are tired and fatigued, but I'm going to be able to pull this back and I'm going to get that shot off.
Phil, what are you doing? Phil's got it for his side call.
Business.
Yeah, never mind that. So, what do you think you could improve on, though, for next year's competition? Because I imagine you're planning on coming to defend your title.
Yeah, I got it, I guess, right?
I would say so.
Maybe getting my shots off a little bit quicker, maybe getting a little bit more distance on those high pressure shots. I don't know. I think I may have told you that recently we downsized the gym because we're going to be building a new building. So
Really?
we downsized for the time being. So that's why I've been sticking to like 20-yard shots. So I didn't get a whole lot of time to get out to 30, 40, 50 yards. So I would, definitely like to get those longer range yardage shots under pressure, for sure. And then I had only had the bow that I was using. I just upgraded to the Hoyt Defiant for 3 weeks. So, definitely like to make sure I get a few more arrows into a bow before I go out there.
Yeah, a little more than 3 weeks before a high pressure situation
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
competition or a hunt. Yeah, that might be a good idea.
But I mean, it performed well, dude. The bow did what it had to do. I got the new Hamsky hybrid rest as well. So I mean, everything just worked smoothly. So if there was any mess up, it was the shooter's fault, not the equipment's fault for sure.
Yeah, I think I've caught a lot of people. They'll blame equipment or this, that, and the other thing, and
Right.
it's like, well, if you didn't catch it before today, that comes down to you.
Exactly. Right.
Not only that, but I think in the end, 99% of the time, it is Robin Hood, not the arrow.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what do you got planned for this coming hunting season, man? Anything in the books?
So I know that I drew an archery elk tag. I'm not sure which unit it was in yet, so I'll guess see what unit that's in. I'm planning on actually heading up. I know you might be coming down, right? Is
I'm
that still?
working on it. I'm working on it. We'll see
Okay.
with this, with the baby, hopefully.
Yeah, no, I understand. But if that happens, I'll make it happen. Even if I'm just the pack mule dude or the spotter, I'm definitely down to tag along on that. I'll go over the counter for pronghorn, and then probably just grab over the counter deer tag, just depending on where I'm at too.
You can check now, Jay, online. It tells you which unit you drew.
Okay, I didn't.
If you go to the draw results and preference point section,
Okay.
it'll tell you now. I just checked mine today. So
Okay. Well, we'll do that.
yeah. So what did you say, Will? You're not sure now? What the
No, I'm working. I'm just saying it's a work in progress. Nothing is 100%, but it's I'm trying to make it happen.
What percentage are we at, Will?
Like
Yeah.
90.
Okay.
All right.
90's
90.
Okay.
pretty good.
We're,
90,
we're,
yes.
we're going.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
going.
yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I'll tell you what, man. My brain right now is like scrambled eggs. So it's funny, man. You operate on some kind of You can operate on some kind of tiredness level you never knew you could do before. Like
Absolutely.
I've gone to work in all kinds of rough shape before, but nothing like those getting up to change the baby multiple nights in a row and just staying up and hammering. But
Hey, I'll tell you, you can do a train to hunt event with no sleep because I've done that.
yeah,
And yeah, that was Fort Collins when you came out.
yeah, and it
That
still didn't help me.
emergency room from like 9 or 9:30 to like 6 in the morning. Dropped the wife and the little guy off at home, and I drove up to the shoot site. So you can do all right. You can function.
That's what it's about. I will say, man, like I don't get mad. I don't get upset. I don't get whatever. It's just like you get that. I get this done. I got to do it. It's kind of like when you're, what it's like. It's a lot like when you're in the backcountry. Like I never met anybody who's upset or in a bad mood out in the backcountry. Even if you're tired, you're all janked up, like you're strung out, you haven't been sleeping great, whatever. You're freezing at night. You may have not be 100% ready for the conditions you're in, but you're out there. Your eyes are just bloodshot, but you still have this
Yeah.
amazing focus and adrenaline going through you.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I don't. I haven't had the pleasure or the misery of spending any period of time hunting or camping. With miserable people. So it seems like most of the people enjoy being out there.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't either. I haven't been with miserable people out there. I'm just saying, when you're out there and you're just loving it, it's like this is the best thing ever. But you're pushing everything you have in your body to whatever it can do.
One piece of advice, Will, with the little ones, because I got myself in trouble with this. I would sit there and my little guys would, both of them, they'd be crying, I'd be smiling, And it was like because I just enjoyed watching watching them
All
and
right, so I'm
observing
not
them.
the only one doing that. All
No,
right.
and I'd sit there and I'm like, man, listen to this little cry, and I'd just be holding them, and my wife's pulling her hair out. I'm tired. I need a break. I need a rest. And they're obviously their bodies just went through a whole big deal, right? So
Yep.
just be cautious when you're like in your moment, like observing them, because if the wife's flipping out or something, you might want to take the baby into the next room and observe them. Where the wife's not watching you smile, watching the little guy cry or something. Because my wife got cabin fever pretty bad after my first one, and she she was just cooped up, and it was wintertime, and she couldn't get out of the house, and he was newborn, but I still enjoyed it, man. I'd sit there and I wouldn't sleep too, and I'd sit there and I'd watch him sleep, and it was just I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm gonna grab my power cord real quick. I'm about to die, so
All right,
be
Yep.
back in a sec.
we'll be hanging tight, man. What is it about like the kid though, where you can just sit there and watch them, like just watch them sit there breathing. They could be sleeping, whatever it is. You're just sitting there watching them.
I'm not sure. I mean, so like with our first, with Dominic, my oldest, I was nervous, right? We'd put him in his little bassinet, and they're so little, and you got them bundled up, and like I said, it was wintertime, and you just sit there and roll this little bean right in their bassinet, and you
Yeah,
just see his little face popping out because they
yeah.
got their hat and everything, right? And
Or
you're just sitting
the
there.
swaddle, right? Where
Yeah,
you
you
wrap them up
swaddle them.
like a burrito.
Exactly, and you're watching. I'm just like, is he breathing? Is he breathing? Is he breathing? And I got nervous, and I wouldn't sleep. Sometimes I'd sit there and I'd watch him for just, I'd just watch him. But then it's like they're like, no, it's you get nervous, but then you start to kind of really watch, and you see their breathing, and you see everything's good, and then you just start watching and enjoying watching them there. I don't know, man. I did that a lot, and I did that with both my kids, and it's something that people are like, oh, don't ever put them in bed with you and this and that. I was like, you know what? For a while, my kids slept in bed with us a lot, and I enjoyed every minute of it because they're only little for so long, and getting
Yeah.
to watch them and just watch their sleep, and like now with my little guy, when he's taking a nap, and then every once in a while he'll start laughing or something, or he'll talk in his sleep, and I laugh at that stuff. I enjoy watching that, so because they're only little that like for so long.
That's right, man. He's already a week old, and I'm already like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's slow this down. Dad is not ready for all this, And I know next thing I'm gonna be doing is being like, all right, we're gonna go connect with Phil, meet out in the Midwest, connect for our first turkey hunt. We'll show you the ropes, and it's just gonna all come so damn fast, man. And
It will.
I don't know if I'm ready for. I like it. I like it the way it is right now. It's like that moment where I'm on the couch or whatever, and like I put him on my chest, and he's curled up in that little tight position that babies do, and it's like this is the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah. It's a peaceful feeling, man. It really is. And then once they get older, then they want to start running your life.
Really?
I'm learning that right now. My 6-year-old Dominic, um, that kid has a high energy motor, and he needs to be going and doing something like now. So I don't know. It changes. It's still enjoyable, but it changes.
You just got a lot more to do with him now.
And then you can be like JJ. He's just graduated a couple years ago. Zeke graduated 2 years ago now, or a year
Oh,
ago.
sorry, I lost sound for a couple minutes there.
That's right.
He graduated 2 years ago now.
2 years ago
From high school?
Yeah.
You have a kid who graduated high school?
He just finished college this year, actually. He went to a technical trade school.
What?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's I don't know. I love my two kids, and that's all I want. I went and took care of that.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I had no idea what it's about before this. I'll be honest. I was a little bit ignorant. I didn't. But no one can explain it to you. It can't
No,
be.
you
You
can't.
can't tell somebody about it. I'm
You can
not
read all the
trying to.
books you want, man.
Yeah. It's like I'm not trying to tell anybody out there what it's like because it'll probably be different for everybody out there. But for me, becoming a father has just been an unreal and amazing experience.
Yeah, and it gets it keeps getting better, man. I mean, it's hard to describe it. Like I said, just like the stuff you've just experienced now in the last week, it's just different kind of experiences now that it's a trip, man. Everyone they'll just do something, and their personalities that they start to develop is pretty cool. Like Dominic, he's watching the tournament last weekend. Dad, when am I going to be able to compete in that? Dad, why? How come I'm not old enough to compete?
How tall's he got to be to ride that ride?
Right? Yeah. How old do I have to be, Dad? So
yeah. Dom always gets super bummed whenever we're doing the boot camps and there's not enough equipment or there's not a light enough, kettlebell or something for him to use. You see the look on his face. It just drains him.
He gets pissed, man. So like, some of us will use a pack, and sometimes we won't use a pack. Well, if we're using a pack, I won't let him put any weight in his backpack. And he gets pissed, man. Yeah. It's like, Dad, how come I need to be able to do the same thing, And it's, oh man, it's a trip. He'll sit there and pout sometimes because he wants to do the same things as everybody else.
He wants to run with the big dogs.
He does.
He does, man.
That's great, man. That's what I hope. Hopefully, you never know. I'll support him whatever he wants to do, but like, I'm looking forward to that first hunt.
Oh yeah, it was very memorable for me, but everybody's got to be different with with the situations. But for me, it was pretty neat.
Yeah, man. You only get to do that first one once.
Yeah.
Yep.
Luckily, there's a lot of big game species we can try a first one out on.
Yeah.
So Phil, what do you? It's getting to that time, man. What do you got put in? What are you drawing?
So I drew a high country deer mule deer tag, and I drew my either sex elk tag in a limited draw unit. Again, I drew last year and this year. I didn't expect to draw this year, but I can get a a second tag, a cow tag. So when you come down, I'll still have a tag in my pocket. A cow tag, but we can go chase elk in another unit. And I did not draw pronghorn in the draw unit I applied for, but I can get over the counter tag for that as well. So pronghorn's always tough for me, man, because the shop that's the busiest time of year is July and August, and pronghorn season opens August 15th.
When's it close?
What's that?
When does pronghorn close?
It's like September 20th, but usually into September I'm busy chasing deer and elk, so I kind of, I don't want to say I forget about pronghorn, but I just
you go from setting up everyone's bows for hunting season to hunting elk is what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't pronghorns, like a couple years ago when I drew the same unit in Santino, we took a couple days and we went out there and we put a lot of effort into it because it was a limited draw unit. And
you got some big boys that year.
We did. Both of us shot good bucks. And we applied.
Is the one right behind you?
No. No, that one hasn't gotten mounted yet, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know if I don't. Over the counter is fun, but it's almost too accessible, right? You can drive 30, 45 minutes outside of town and you can be chasing pronghorn. And you can go for an afternoon, right? Like, you went with Santino a couple times last year, didn't you, Jay?
I did, yeah.
The year before. Yeah. So you can go get a decent hunt, maybe a stock or two in an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of hunting. And I would say that probably because it's so accessible, sometimes you just keep putting it off. Oh yeah, I'll just do a couple evenings, or I'll just do a couple mornings when it's over the counter, and you don't ever fully put the time that you probably should, So anyway, that's just me. That's how I've been. But it's because the shop's always so busy that time of year.
It really gets overshadowed by elk.
Yeah. Elk for me. I mean, I was talking to a family member on the phone today, and I'm probably gonna buy a landowner voucher tag in New Mexico to go in October, just to get another elk hunt in. So I'll be archery hunting in a rifle season, but it's a unit where there's some private and some public in that unit where I can hunt on that tag. And of course, you got to be wary because there's going to be other rifle hunters around. But it's just like anything else. You get far enough back in, and people don't want to hike back in that far. So you get away from the traffic. So I may end up going elk hunting New Mexico too in October.
Do you have enough room in your freezer for all these?
I got 3 freezers.
All right. You're good.
Yeah. So I filled them last year. I tell you what, we're starting to dwindle because we've been eating a lot of meat, but it's fun, man. And like I said, I don't know. Jesse applied for the same unit him and I applied the same unit for elk this year, and I was lucky enough to draw without a preference point. So hopefully he can draw. Hopefully he was lucky enough to draw the same unit as well.
I bet it was.
So
that was
yeah,
the first choice.
But we'll see. I mean, because it's last year up in that area, I screwed up an opportunity for my dad, not intentionally, because he drew his black powder muzzleloader tag. You got a week long or 8-day season of black powder in the archery season, and he's enjoyed doing that because he gets to use a boomstick in the middle of archery season. And long story short, man, we seen a giant, probably the biggest bull I've seen hunting, and it was a big boy. If anybody has seen the video I've got on YouTube from the one a couple years ago in New Mexico, it is bigger than that. And so we saw him, and he wasn't very far. He's got cows, and I told my dad, I said, you take a direct line through the trees and you go at him, I'm going to drop down, because I just was like, I want him to get an opportunity, because they were in the middle of this meadow, and he's got more reach with the muzzleloader than I did with my bow. So I figured if he can get within 150 yards, I've seen him kill elk with his muzzleloader at 150 yards. Long story short, he got to the edge of the tree line, and I was going down about 200 yards below him. When I'm about to peek out to look up into the meadow, there's a friggin' satellite bull right there staring at me about 30 yards away. And he blew across the meadow, and he took the herd with him. But that I drew that unit again, and like I said, hopefully Jay drew it with me, so we can pack back in there maybe and stay a couple nights further back in, because the further back you go, people don't go back there, and it's a lot of unpressured area in this unit because there's so much private that surround the state lands, is the public lands, and people don't go back that far, and those elk are back there. So we'll see, man. It'll be fun.
I'm excited just talking about it. It's exciting.
I'm like, I wish it was already like now, and I know before we know it, it's going to be here, right? I mean, we got 2 months roughly. Well, no, 3 months actually. June, July, yeah, about 3 months. But it'll be here before we know it, and yeah, it's gonna be good. But I don't know. I mean, your guys' season doesn't start till what, late October, Will?
No, we'll have September. Will be.
Oh, you guys have.
Well, we have. It'll be. I believe early bear will be the first thing to open up, which opens, I think, last weekend or week in September. That's how it works out. I'll have to check. But yeah, early bear goes first, and then in October is archery, deer, and that's the big one for me, at least, is archery deer season. Even though it's not as active as when rifle opens up, just being out there for the archery deer, the early season, I like it because it's warmer and because I see a lot more. Once a gun starts going off, they're hip to it. The deer seem to become a little more timid. They vanish. You don't see them as much. I mean, this is nothing new, I'm telling people, but it's like it happens every year. It works, the same.
But how many tags can you get out there?
I can get a rifle, a black powder, I think 2 for bow, and I think that's it. So I think 4.
Still quite a bit, though.
Oh yeah, that's great. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But the way usually I'll try to get, if I can get a buck and a doe, I'm having a great season. I have yet to have a bear, although I've seen a few, you can't bait them. You can't hunt them with dogs in New York State, so that makes it a lot harder. But
Yeah, same here.
Is it? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard, man. It's hard without any bait. So, I go where I think they'll be. There's a place I've got a hunting camp I belong to. It's got a lot of sign, a lot of berries. So I set up mostly just to go for fun, just like sitting in the woods.
Yeah. So, Jay, you have any other events or tournaments you got coming up? I know you guys go to the games quite a. Usually you try to make a trip out there for CrossFit games. You guys going to go out there again this year?
Yeah, we are. Our guy that made it last year to the Masters, he made it again this year.
Cool.
This dude's got an amazing story. I mean, he made it last year. He wasn't even sure. I mean, we were pretty confident. We knew he would, but and his goal was like, I just want to finish top 10. He finished fourth. He was only a couple points out of being on the podium last year. This year again, he was training his ass off, and then a couple months before, I think it was before the Open, so before the qualifier, he went into the hospital to the ER. He had his intestines or something like got blocked or twisted up, and so they had to perform this emergency surgery, and like they had to drain all kinds of fluid and bile out of his abdomen. It was pretty serious stuff, but he recovered from that. But then he had a little bit of I don't know, like it happened again a couple weeks later, not as bad though, so they didn't have to do surgery, I don't think, or they might have had to do something pretty minor. But he came back, he bounced back, he qualified. So he's going to be there again this year, so we're going to go out there and support him, yeah.
I remember seeing the pictures last year.
Yeah, the dude's a stud, dude. He's 49. His name's Craig Eisman. He's got the body of like a 22-year-old. He's got the mind of a 22-year-old. This dude he's just focused. He knows what to do. This guy, he can game any workout. He knows how to prepare for it, how to plan for it. He sticks to his game plan. He's cool. He's legit.
That's cool.
Oh, that reminds me. Congratulations to Josh Bednors and his team who qualified for the games.
Yeah, congrats, Josh. We'll be watching them too, so that's going to be pretty cool to see them.
Yeah. So what is it like going to the games? Checking it out.
It's exciting, man. It's the Disneyland for CrossFitters. I mean, once you do it a couple times, it gets a little bit repetitive, but once the first 2 years we did it, we just went because we're gym owners and we can go and business expense. But then the third year, that's when we had an athlete there, and once you have somebody there that you're rooting for, and then seeing Backcountry's team out there last year too, it just makes it a completely different feel. I mean, you've got somebody there that you're supporting, that you helped train to get there. And then it gets a little bit different too when you get all the new names in there. So like, Froning was no longer, and Kalipa was no longer competing individually, their own team. So it made it a little bit different as far as watching all the individuals go. I mean, hands down, these guys and gals are the greatest athletes in the world. So still great to watch. It's just that they're just pretty much relatively unknown, compared to like the Fronings and Kalipas and Camille's and that kind of stuff. So it makes it a little bit different.
Yeah, so maybe it's just me that I don't watch enough TV, but I've seen they've actually televised on ESPN some portions of the events, right?
They do.
They just do that purposely, just a few of them, and then they don't do any more. I've just never seen any more. I've only seen like one or two from last year's, and the year before was the same way.
Yeah, so a lot of times they'll just show a few things at a time. So they'll show like the men's and the women's event 5, and that's all they'll show. And then the next day they'll show, the finals, whatever. A lot of times they don't show a whole lot of the Masters on TV, because the big things to watch are the teams, the individual men, the individual women. So then they'll only show a little bit of it, because if you think about it, we're out there I'm going out there on Tuesday. That's when Craig starts, Tuesday through, if he qualifies through Thursday, he'll be there through Thursday. I think the individuals start Thursday through Sunday, so they're long days. They're good, solid 8 to 10 hour days. So they cut a lot of that out for sure, just to keep the excitement, keep the spectators excited on TV and that kind of stuff.
But can you watch the rest of it on like YouTube or anything, or
you can? Yeah, if you can watch it, if you just go to the CrossFit Games website, you can see any of the events on there.
Oh, okay.
And I think they stream it live too there, so you can watch the entire thing there.
Yeah, I've like I said, I've enjoyed watching it. It's always fun to watch that stuff, but
It is,
it
man.
just
It's pretty cool to watch.
it's
Some
never been
things
able to see all of it.
there's some things that I know. One year they had like a crazy long row, a crazy long run, and it's like that's not the most exciting thing to watch. It's like
Yeah.
to me, it's like watching golf.
Yeah.
No offense to any people that love to watch golf or play golf. There's just some things that's just not fun to watch.
Yeah, it's not like the Alpha Bow Hunting Challenge.
Exactly, man.
It's not like that.
No, absolutely not.
So
you get stuff that's 2.5, 3 minutes, man. That's exciting to watch. Just cycling through different brackets. I agree, man.
yeah. So we were, Will, since you stepped out for just a sec, and I think we've only got Jesse for a few more minutes. I think he's got to run, but we were just talking about the games, and I was commenting on how some of the events are televised, and sometimes they don't televise everything, and how some of the events are kind of like watching paint dry or like watching golf. And I told him how it's nothing like the Alpha Bow Hunting Challenge. I'm getting able to watch that, but and then even next year when we add the team events into the platform and the head-to-head format, so you've got two guys competing against another two guys or gals, where I depend on how we break the teams out. So
yeah,
that's gonna be fun to watch too.
Yeah, and we've talked, the three of us, of some ways to maybe spice that up, or I'm not going to reveal anything else we're talking about, but I'll just say, hey, what's a downtime for hunters? What would be the perfect time to challenge them physically and archery wise?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and publicly shoot down the guys running in thongs thing, because that idea, Will, was not a very good one. But
aerodynamics.
The women in the swimsuit competition format of the head-to-head competition, we might revisit that one.
You said you wanted outside the box ideas. I'm throwing out there outside the box ideas.
But I just didn't want anybody's junk outside the box. So that's just.
I understand.
I would definitely have to forego defending my title if it had to be in a thong.
What if it was camo?
50-50.
All right, that's what I thought. Camo changes everything.
What camo pattern? That's the question.
Right.
Whatever you want. Whatever makes it look bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Some of them will accentuate.
Listen, I'm looking for a camo that doesn't hide things but accentuates them.
I don't need it to be any more hidden.
That reminds me, when my kid was born, I maintained my seriousness, but the whole time I wanted to turn to the doctor and go, "That's a record, right?" Get your tape, get your ruler out. No, wait, better yet, grab the yardstick. We got to measure this baby. But because my wife, she's even giving me the face now. Just there's some serious tones to the moment. I held back.
Yeah, that's
good call.
Probably a good thing, Will.
I did cut the cord, and let me tell you, man, the doctor who was holding it, I wanted to say, listen, you ever cut anything before, Doc? Because you're putting your finger so damn close to these scissors, and these aren't those safety scissors. These are real, heavy-duty scissors. I'm going to cut your finger off. I've never done this before. I'm as nervous as a dog shitting razor blades, and this guy's putting his fingers as close to these damn scissors as he possibly can.
I didn't have that. Both of my kids were breech, and we had to do C-sections on both of them. So I didn't get to cut any cords on either one of them myself.
It's an experience. I'm not saying you're missing anything, but it's an experience. It's different. I also had thought in that moment just picking out the knife and saying, "I got this. Get out of here with these scissors. I've done this before. If you can skin a deer, you can cut a cord, Doc."
Yeah.
But again,
another good thing you didn't bring up in the room.
Yeah, sometimes I guess I'm a little bit wiser now that I'm a father, I guess you could say.
Well, we hope so, Will.
Yeah, because if I get dumber, I'm in trouble. Yeah, man. So, hey, listen, I'm going to put this out to their listeners because We are looking at making improvements, and Phil would of course like to make the Alpha bigger and better and become a premier tournament. If you guys have any ideas or things you would like to see in a competition, send it our way. We may not entertain it whatsoever. They could be terrible ideas. They could be groundbreaking ideas. Whatever you got, send them our way. We'll read them.
I've got one.
Oh, here we go.
I think that that the previous year's winners should automatically be put into the final bracket.
Nope, not happening.
I tried.
No,
we'll see.
Yeah, no, it's got to be like CrossFit, where even if you're the previous year's winner, you could still end up not making it.
True story.
It appears there's quite a few athletes in those categories that didn't make it, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Several
years in a row, like some of the guys that you expect to be there just got beat up by the young guns, man.
Oh, but Dan Bailey was a heartbreak, man. That's my boy.
And here's my question, though. Obviously, CrossFit's growing, right? There's more and more and more people doing it, more and more people trying to qualify. Are they opening up the amount of people that can qualify at all? Are those spots just that much harder to get?
Well, so no. I mean, everybody has the opportunity to qualify through the Open and then through regional. So you gotta prove that you're cream of the crop in your region and make it to regionals. And then within regionals, it's still only the top. I can't remember maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah, but
from each region, so it's
here's
still
my
the same.
Question though. It's like if originally you maybe had 100 people biting for 5 spots, right? And then 1,000 people for 5 spots. Now if it's 10,000 people really getting after 5 spots, you can just have half of a bad workout and you're out.
You're
right. That's right. That's what's happened.
Yeah, but see that to me, I don't like that, because there could be some of those people that, like you said, maybe in that format of the games with the longer, more competition, more events, this and that, they thrive in that, and they maybe never ever get to that stage because of whatever happens in a regional or an Open, and maybe not so much the Open, because those are just the workouts that they prescribe for everybody to do, right? And you got to do it at your gym. Yeah, so I'm just wondering, are they going to start opening up more spots or open up more, or shrink the regions, because then that way at least you're not still bidding for 5 spots out of 100,000 people. I don't know what it is, but I don't know.
Right. And actually, funny enough, they actually just changed it in the past couple of years, where they actually expanded the regions. So it went from being more regions, smaller regions with 2 or 3 qualifiers, to combining, I can't remember how many in each region, how many of the regionals into one super region, I think they call it, and then now allowing 5 people. And that was because there was years where somebody in one of the smaller regions would qualify, but somebody in a completely separate region kicked that score's ass. Even though they got 4th place and didn't qualify for the games, they still beat the first place winner from another region. So that's why they expanded the region, so that to make it a little bit tougher for the competitors. And it's funny because when that happened, you saw athletes actually moving. I don't know if they physically moved their house and moved, but they're qualifying out of different regions now.
Yeah, you have to live, I think, in that region for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, I think it's like 6 months or something.
Sounds like more politics to me.
You know what, Phil? You should start your own competition, and then you can make the qualifiers for those events whatever you want them to be.
In an event like that, it sounds like too much work.
It could be any kind of event.
I don't know, man.
Maybe you should host an archery event.
I've already started dabbling into that, and you know what? Honestly, the event itself wasn't stressful for me. It was fun. It was getting the damn range ready. That's what was freaking. Because we were balls to the wall. We were literally finishing shit the last day. I ain't lying.
That range looks pretty damn sweet. So what's it like? What do you got out there?
It's nice.
It's just where we did everything was just on the big side in range. We have the big portion of the 3D range that we weren't able to shoot on because it was too wet, but that will be ready for next year. And like I said, the structure and everything, the game is going to be essentially the same, very similar. The format as far as shooting multiple tournaments or qualifying for a final event or something like that is up in the air for potentially changing, but the game itself is going to be the same.
Yeah, man, it ran smoothly. There was no hiccups. There was no, there was no downtime. There was not a lot of downtime. There was no downtime where you were sitting, waiting, twiddling your thumbs. It was, everything was back to back to back. It went perfectly. I mean, well done.
I appreciate it, man. It was, I don't know, like so I've done a lot of events and seeing, and I pay attention. It's. I'm not saying I did everything perfect, but I saw where other events have fallen short, or other events aren't exciting, or other events, and just the element of adding music to people competing.
I love that.
Yeah.
You don't see. I can guarantee you're not going to get that in another archery competition.
No. You got people holding people's umbrellas and hushing the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that, dude. I thrive on that because, and it's funny because I've talked to a few people at the gym where I told them where Becky knows me so well that she knows now not to be yelling and cheering me on like super loud and you got this, you could do this, blah blah blah. She knows that I need to be just in my zone. I need to be where I'm just just not focused on the stress or on the competitiveness of the situation, where I can just be just chill, just relax, just not even thinking about it. And she did well, and I applaud her and love her to death.
Yeah, man, you had a good look.
That music, that's where it was coming from. Is that music helped kind of drown out a lot of the people? Like, I heard people cheering for me. That's great. I love that. Don't get me wrong, but when it's just all just you hear everyone yelling your name. You got this. You could do this. And then or if you miss or if you hit, the cheering is great. That it's just being able to drown kind of that stuff out for me kind of helped me calm myself a little bit.
Yeah, it was fun, man, and it was. I don't know. Like I said, next year, I'm still going to be running the events and being on the sidelines, but I may end up dabbling in the team events or something just because it's just fun to play. I got to go run one round this year because there was a bye, but man, it was fun. We'll have to do something to incorporate it somehow in the winter where people can get used to playing the game. Because obviously we got a big indoor shop, so we can do some smaller scale of it inside. And like I said, just keep showing people how to play because 1.5, 2.5, 3 minutes of action and people are having a good time doing it. So,
absolutely.
But anyway, you gotta run, man, or you got time still?
Wait,
I got a couple more minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Jesse's got a couple minutes. So Jesse, you won. Was there a particular supplement or anything you were taking that may have helped you aid in your victory?
Dude, I always take my mountain ups. I'm always on the enduro and the blaze. I use some of the proteins. I happen to be out right now, so I got to replenish on that. But absolutely, mountain ups all the way.
We had our hydration station.
We did.
On the main table.
What was on the hydration station?
Enduro. We were just running enduro in there. I was nervous because those kids running around. I didn't want to put the Yeti in the tub.
All jacked up.
Yeah.
Dominic's running the course, carrying everything on his back.
No, man, but we were blowing through some enduro in that jug, man. We were keeping it cold and keeping it full, and Mountain Ops came up big, man, with supporting the event. So we'll have to see. I mean, you gonna try to get out to Utah for their deal, JD, or no?
Probably not. I don't think so. Not this year anyway. I got some. I'll take a phrase from Phil. I got some irons in the fire right now that I'm trying to see which one I can strike with and see if something's going to work out here. So, hopefully by next year that'll all be sorted out and I can kind of get back into the train hunt and maybe the mountain ops thing next year.
Right on. Yeah, I mean that's somebody said something to me this weekend too, and they said I can't remember how it was worded. And I said, man, I've just thrown so much shit against the wall to see what sticks, and I hope this one sticks because I'm having fun with it,
Yeah,
but that's
I think it will.
I don't know.
If I can have fun watching it in New York State on a video that's on Facebook, it's got to be fun, man.
Yeah, I talked to Brendan with Maven today. Actually, we talked a little bit today, and he's like, man, it looks like you guys are having a great time out there, watching the feed on some of the videos on same thing on Facebook. And I told him, I was like, man, you got to come out next year. It was a good time.
It was a blast, dude. Even the 30 target, 2D, 3D shoot. the day before. The fact that there was that many targets and we were able to kind of spread out and do groups of twos and threes, made it move pretty quickly, pretty smoothly. I had a lot of time to shoot the shit with the people that you know and meet new people and make new friends. So it was set up perfectly. I look forward to next year as well, for sure.
Which that brings me back to this. Great things about Mountain Ops and Maven Binoculars Optics is they support this podcast, and they do it by giving us some sweet codes you guys can put in at your purchases. If you're getting some Mountain Ops, you just head on over to getmountainops.com and you enter the coupon code NBH20 at checkout, and you save 20% on your purchase, which is fantastic. And then
yes, sir.
Yeah, Phil loves it. Jesse loves it. We all taking them. We're all loving it. And then when it comes to binoculars, Maven has some kick-ass binoculars, and they gave us a coupon code because they can't really lower their price for us. They wanted to hook our listeners up, so if you make a purchase, just enter the coupon code NBHGIFT at checkout, and they'll send you some free Maven swag.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, Jesse, you ought to get yourself some.
And I'd like to someday.
I know a guy who's selling them. He's carrying them in his shop in Denver.
Well, technically, I'm not selling. I've got some demo.
You're demoing them.
Some demo binos.
Demoing. If you want to check them out in person, you're in the Denver metro area, head on over to No Limits Archery. Phil will hook you up. He'll show you them. He also happens to have a state-of-the-art indoor range, outdoor range. Sells just phenomenal equipment. Bows, his bow techs knows. They all know what they're doing, so check it out. If you're in the upstate New York area, you want to get together and shoot, I'll let you look through the binoculars, check them out. Whatever you guys want. Just so you can check them out, because we believe in them. If we didn't believe in them, Phil wouldn't put them in his shop. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, and for a short time, I had them side by side with a couple other name brands, and some people were looking at them side by side, and it was basically the same kind of end result that I was coming to, where it was, these are as good or better than some of the high end name stuff on the market for half the price. And to me, it's a no-brainer. As hunters and outdoorsmen, you want the best. You want the best your dollar can buy you, right? Not everybody's dollar is the same, but if you can get the same quality product for half or 60% of the high end stuff, right? Quotation marks. Then to me, it's a no-brainer. And the people over there at Maven are just awesome to deal with. So super happy to be working with them.
Yeah, Brendan, great guy, great guest. We'll have to get him on, because I got more questions when it comes to optics.
All right, fellas. Well, I better run. The wife's texting me. I'm supposed to be somewhere, so I got to head over there. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, for sure. So, hey, real quick, not this Sunday, next Sunday, if you're in the Denver metro area, 8 o'clock, we got the Alpha Boot Camp. We're going to get after it 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, sir.
What's the date on that, in case people are listening to this at a weird time?
June. Give me 1 sec. June 12th.
June 12th. There you go. Also, I believe we'll have live coverage. I think there's 2 Train to Hunt events this weekend coming up. We should have, I think we'll have live coverage from both.
Awesome.
And, head on over to iTunes, subscribe to this podcast, give us a like, hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, Natural Born Hunter, follow Jesse, Anchor CrossFit. This is a great group to be a part of.